Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're just moments away from game number 2 here, broadcast out of the round of 8. It's going to be Cognitive Gaming versus Legion.
Yep.
And, well, we've been building this one up a little bit. Recently joining Legion, Duro, in addition to DJ Pernicus. They're kind of the old stars of that team. Cognitive, well, we know them as Heroin, Famous Hate, Jigs, Meerkat, and Mask.
Yep.
Formerly known as What's Crackin', now known as Cognitive Gaming. Not even Cognitive Prime, because there is no Cognitive Red. It is Cognitive Gaming.
It's
again.
It's just one team,
Welcome
one entity, if you will.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this. I mean, a lot of people kind of questioned it. They said, doesn't it seem a little bit early that they Cognitive kind of reached out and just grabbed this team instantly? But that's what David Fry does. David Fry spots young talent very, very early and just goes with it.
Yeah,
and he creates it.
He's the Oakland Athletics of Smite, basically. Playing that money ball, taking the value teams. This team, he kind of was. I talked to him a little bit about this squad in particular.
Okay.
He feels that they're a lot like Cognitive Red before he sponsored them. High-ranked, high-ranked players that are a little bit trolly that he's gonna rein in and make into a competitive squad. This time they're gonna be the blue team.
I could see that. Normally what it takes in gaming, it's weird. Even though traditionally we have these young players who kind of shine, they are definitely the minority. Normally you kind of shine between the ages of like 17 and 21, and then before that it just takes maturing to get used to it.
Sure.
So it makes sense that these guys could kind of shine.
It's Amir banned out first overall by Cognitive Gaming, followed up by Sir Cat on the side of Legion. So Amir finally getting the credit that you think that he deserves.
For sure.
Based on your commentary last game. And, well, Cognitive continues to show that they do not want to deal with cone-based CC out of Guardians as Athena goes out as well, her taunt being valued.
This might be a first pick Sylvanas here. Very well could be.
Nope,
Sylvanas gets it. Yeah.
No, it ain't.
So what they're trying to do is they go, well, there's not a whole bunch of supports right now who people are favoring in the competitive meta. So if we just ban them out and we try to get Sylvanas, we win, or we first pick the kitty cat.
Or, ban out all the cone CC and pick Bastet.
So we've seen, there's only one case I would say that Bastet works in the solo lane, and that's if Cyclone Spin is playing her. He likes the aggro assassins in the solo lane, but really, Bastet, this is going to be in the jungle. No questions asked.
Shibalanke going to be the return pick from Legion. They have one more coming. Probably their Guardian continuing. Considering how highly they've been valued during our first banning phase, is it going to be Geb? Will we see a Sobek this game? Will we see the Ares? Is kind of my big question.
We haven't seen a Sobek.
It's Geb.
I don't think we have seen a Sobek throughout the qualifiers.
I think we saw one in Europe.
Did we see one in Europe?
Yeah, Zalia played it last week.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's solo.
Yeah. Support Sobek, it hasn't been a thing. Geb getting picked up. Geb's still super strong. Stone's Shield is one of the best abilities in Smite, and Cataclysm with Blink, fantastic. But Artemis and Agni get locked in here for Cognitive Gaming. Agni, super safe. Artemis, she's got Tusky.
Right, yeah. She has
or
Tusky.
her little dinosaur, depending.
She has Tusky. She's got the booty. But more importantly, she has passive crit, which means that, and the best attack speed steroid plus run speed steroid in the game. So she hits hard, and she does it quickly. To deal with this, Legion has drafted the only god that I've seen DJ Pernicus play in the last year. It's Nemesis. I mean, legitimately, this is the only god I've seen him play in the last year. I think he played Honbots like one time that I saw last year. Besides that, it's been Nemesis. It's kind of his go-to and his signature.
Nemesis takes a very long time to get online as well. When you draft a Nemesis, if you don't get an early kill, you're really looking at 15 minutes to have chin size online, and that's still being very, very generous. In that time, you're not making a big enough impact in the game, from what we've seen so far in Season 2.
Well, Scylla going to be drafted to go with that Geb setup for Legion. Back on Cognitive, they take the Kronos. We saw him banned in the second banning phase in the last game. Poseidon, Aphrodite were removed in that final banning phase. So everyone getting rid of mages here, but there's still plenty to choose from as the Kronos and Scylla get locked in. Now Sun Wukong to round out Cognitive Gaming as their support. Didn't see this one coming. Probably should have. Considering that he has been kind of climbing the ranks of gods that have been valued more and more.
What helps Sun Wukong is the start of double starters. You start off with either Bloodstone Pendant or Death Toll, and then when you go back, you get Hand 2, and then you get one of the other two.
Right,
you either get Death Toll or Mark of the Vanguard. You can get anything. So the double starter really, really helps Sun Wukong.
Finally for Legion, it's a second assassin in Loki. So that's going to be their solo laner, Scylla in the mid, and Nemesis will be your jungle, Geb and Shibalanke the duo. It looks like it's going to be Bastet jungling with Agni mid lane, Artemis, Sun Wukong as your duo lane, and Kronos in the solo.
Loki.
Most likely for Cognitive Gaming here. The Loki, traditionally, for the annals of Smite history, the original counter to Agni. Back when there wasn't a lot of gods in the game, Agni and Loki were. Agni wants to stand still and shoot meteors in the back line of the fight. Loki wants to get to the back lines and kill the guy standing still. Like very simply, the two of them have that kind of inverse synergy, whatever you would call that.
That's weird. That's a weird. Like looking at it now, I would have never seen a Loki versus Agni matchup being a thing.
Yeah, he's drafted to deal with Agni in team fights. Generally.
I can see it. Now, Loki is going to have a very, very interesting time in this solo lane as well. It's going to be interesting to see how he kind of deals with the Kronos. Kronos, especially Meerkat, they are going to have – that's going to be a lot of power, especially if he gets rolling early on.
Yeah, if Loki gets level 6 or 7 without dying or taking 75% of his tower damage, he should be fine. His secret will come up
But with Loki, right, when you take Loki into the lane, you're leveling his decoy. He's going to have no damage to deal with Meerkat, who's going to have a quadrant 4, which he's going to hit with Accelerate and just be hitting Loki in the face, dwindling his health.
Yeah, Loki's not going to be fighting the Kronos for a long time. That's for sure.
No.
He's definitely not looking for that. So it's really more like it normally is. You stall, and then you push this lane for 30 minutes until you take the Phoenix, and then you consider joining your team. But you probably go back to the solo lane. But we are underway, guys, as minions are beginning to spawn. It's Cognitive Gaming on the blue side, bottom side of the minimap, left side of your spectator UI. It's going to be Meerkat as your solo, Mask and Hurwin jungling in mid, Jigs and Famous Hate as your support and Hunter duo, and they are clearing out their red buff left side. Legion, on the other hand, is going to be NQ from Europe playing as the support Loki. I'm sorry, the solo lane Loki. He's going right now with DJ Pernicus, who will be your jungle nemesis. It's a Duro in the mid lane as Scylla, Pain Devion, and Vedium will be your dual lane as Geb and Shibalanke. And once again, kind of looking at Vedium and Famous Hate. How will the North American Hunter role progress? Will we see any new stars arising? Or will we still be talking about Zapman, Barracuda, Allied, and the gang at the end of this season?
Vedium's been looking very, very well. Again, to reference the scrim from last night against Polyjuice, he was everywhere and he was doing all of the right things. But as you can kind of tell here, the shove early on with Slice and Dice and Decoy is going to kind of help out NQ a lot as he goes invisible. And this is what Loki's going to do. He's going to go invisible and he's going to just annoy you to the end all be all. That's what he does.
Yeah, that's right.
He's one of the most infuriating gods to play against, especially early on.
Well, he does have European ping to deal with on the Loki, although it's probably not the hardest thing in the world. The one place you may see it is if NQ misses any ultimates this game. Not that we're going to give him the free out in terms of
oh god,
in terms of it,
no.
But that is where it might factor in.
For sure. Which will be interesting. The other thing too is that with Beads taking the nerf, I wonder how strong the combo of Alt 3-1-3 is going to be. Because we've yet to see it at a top level.
With Beads 3?
Yeah. Beads 3 no longer having 5-second CDR, and instead it has 3 seconds.
Right.
I wonder if that's going to play a factor.
Maybe. Yes, it will play a factor. It's just kind of how much. How profound will it be?
Now, this is the play here. As you can see, so Nemesis, they shove the solo lane, and then Nemesis goes down and steals those back Harpies, which now means that Mask on Bastet will probably not be level 5 for these mid Harpies. That's good execution.
Yeah, unless he's able to leech some XP somewhere, which they're taking those back camps, and it was not enough to get him up to level 5. So Mask, yeah, you're right. Going to be a little bit XP starved here to the first part of the game. Not going to have kitty cats for the first Harpy spawn. There, you're exactly what you were talking about. NQ taking a lot of damage from Meerkat. I'm not sure if he has any more regen available here. NQ, no, he does. He has a couple health pots, so he's gonna be just fine.
Well, you heard him pop the Accelerate. He's gone invisible. Slice and Dice is gonna hit as well. He's gonna look to get on the back, and he's got the stun, but he's gonna go down. NQ
well
getting
played.
one.
Really well played there by Legion. Nice bait. And honestly, I think that they are on the side of Meerkat. He should have maybe sniffed that something was up when the Loki played forward at like a 3rd HP and just kind of continue to be there.
Yeah.
He threw the decoy pretty late as well to deal with the aggro when they tried to fight him in the lane. All things told there, I think he could have sniffed that one out. Oh, speaking of, well, not sniffing something out, but just being in trouble, it's Geb here. It's an ultimate coming out. Scylla's going to be on top of it. It's not going to be enough to kill off the Sun Wukong just yet, and in comes Bastet. That's likely going to be enough to kill off the Geb. In the meantime, though, Sun Wukong cleaned up by Scylla. NQ, he's made his way over here. We hear the abilities being fired by that Loki. Now here comes the second assassin in Nemesis. Their target is Agni. She's reflecting some damage, but I don't think that the Loki's going to be able to cover the ground here. Shiblanc going to use. It stuns out Bastet, but still just not enough. It's a big rotation, and they're going to leave Kronos some free farm as well in the solo lane.
Now, Herwind, he wasn't able to... was he able to get that, actually? I'm not sure. No, he wasn't able to get the experience of the left Harpies, and they end up losing a bunch. So we're taking a look here. Chaos or Order side team, aka COG Gaming, missing both Harpies off the early. That's gonna come back to haunt him, especially looking at this next Gold Fury, which is probably gonna be attempted in like 2 minutes, depending on how it goes. They've been forcing a lot of fights.
Yeah, Cognitive probably with the better early Gold Fury team. Bastet Kitty's really, really good at taking her up and dealing the damage. Artemis as well. But they do have Sun Wukong who's not so great at taking it early on. He has nice damage, but if they get contested, he doesn't have a great way to deal with that, especially with Pain of Beyond on the Geb, who's just so good at objective play.
Yeah, he's got a single target lockdown. And then other than that, he's got like slows on Sun Wukong, like, and that's it. And then as I take a look at it, it looks like he's going to be rushing into boots instead of going with the second starter item here. Now, he could have went Mark of the Vanguard, so he got a little bit tankier. So I'm assuming this is going to be reinforced Greaves, which will help him a little bit. Maybe Talaria?
Maybe.
Like, I'm not really sure as to what the Sun Wukong's going for.
Or maybe it's just a greedy, it's going to be damage boost.
It could be. That's a good point. They could be looking for the extra damages, which of course is Spanish for damage.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, you have to pick up after that joke, dude. I'm not bailing you out of that one. That's all you.
Hey, it's not a joke. It's an actual
That's just
thing.
the way it is. In Spanish.
Spanish. I love it. Meerkat again still clearing through. No invades coming out really besides from Legion, who kind of went down and stole the back Harpies. Other than that, it's been a very, very passive game in the sense of jungle. And I think it's really just because in between your buff and the other team's buff is such a dead zone, and teams are figuring out where to ward that they're just scared.
Yeah, and I also think that big rotation coming out of Pernicus and Loki earlier on to the mid lane kind of put them behind a little bit, so they're forced to farm up here a lot. Geb in a lot of trouble, and Geb is dead as Bastet combines with that Artemis Boar to find a kill there. Famous Hate and the rest of Cognitive Gaming doing a nice job, dude. They're getting ahead here in this laning phase. It feels like, even after a little bit of a rougher start and giving up first blood to Legion, they're starting to pull us one back and draw it even, although they are about 300 gold behind.
It's a lot of animals, right? You have Tusky, you have 3 cats, you have Sun Wukong who can turn into whatever animal. It's quite annoying to deal with. And when you think about it, Tusky hitting someone and that stun plus the cats with the bleed on them, that's a lot of their HP just instantly gone.
Mid camps left side going to Cognitive, and they may have an opportunity. No, they will not. Because that's here on the right as they're going to go down very quickly. I thought they had about another 2 seconds there, and they could have had Bastet over the wall. She's going to go anyway, and she will take one. They didn't clean it up. They reset it, I think. Oh, no. Misplay by Legion. Actually, brings Cognitive ever closer to drawing this one even.
One of my favorite plays I've ever seen on Bastet was SPL last season when Lassus took Pounce level 1 and he stole the speed buff and jumped back over.
Oh, yeah.
One of my favorite plays of all time. And that just shows you that Bastet can get away with those things.
That is a classic play.
I mean, her jump, you just press 1 and then you press it again and you're gone.
Yeah, you did it. You went forward and backwards.
You did everything.
Traveling without moving. Shoutouts to Dune. Well, it's a Gold Fury, at least zoning possibility for Legion here. They want to start it up. They're looking for their opportunity, and they think they found it here as the timer rolls over 7 minutes. Loki's zoning out Sun Wukong, and as we mentioned, this is kind of the issue with Sun Wukong. Doesn't have a lot of tankiness right now to deal with the pressure, but Geb has moved forward. They've reset the Gold Fury, and the fight is broken out. Kronos with the rewind going to remove a lot of that damage. Agni's dealing with Nemesis now, who's gotten on top of him. Use the ultimate as well. He's clearly the target. Scylla's taken 2 her I'm a Monster form, but she whiffs that one, and Nemesis is out of this fight. Kronos zoned it out. It's a big crush, though, as NQ and Scylla, played by Adoro, combine for a kill. Artemis trying to surge forward. There is the time bubble. Sun Wukong looking for the cat. He's not going to find it, though, and Loki, he shings away, and he'll be A-okay for now.
That was a big fight. If Sun Wukong would have locked that one up, if Jigs would have hit him with that cat, that would have been huge for them. What also could have been a nightmare, just because, as you could tell, Geb was there for that rotation as well as Xbalanque. So they might have been able to clean it up. It might have been a blessing in disguise, but I still would have loved to see that play happen.
I would have, too.
Yeah.
It would have been a big play. Legion.
The what-ifs.
How will it ever be?
Oh.
This just coming in. Nomad took out Eager here, so Eager once again eliminated.
What did I say yesterday? What did I say yesterday?
Let's see.
Yeah.
Hi.
the show.
You said hi a couple times. You asked me a few questions.
I did. I should about Excel.
Yeah.
Excel came out.
Yeah.
How do I make druids?
Yeah. Well, what did you say, Scott?
I said that Nomad has a very, very good matchup versus Eager, especially early on.
Yeah.
I mean, Dignitas, you have Nah who streams till like 4 a.m. Lassus does everything whenever he wants. So they might have underestimated, which clearly they did. So Nomad right now looking good.
Okay. So Nomad.
Yeah,
that's surprising.
That was the ballsy call.
Eager. I mean, speaking. I mean, it's a ballsy call, right?
It was a ballsy prediction.
They leave their sponsor. They form their own team, and now they can't make it out of the round of 8. They may be missing that little bit of extra income from their sponsor. Or they really need to find a way to battle back on this one. We'll see what Eager's able to do, guys. But back to this game, it's Cognitive versus Legion, and Cognitive does take the Gold Fury there. No follow-up so far from Legion. They have the Alma Monster, but they're looking for the setup, and they're not going to find it. Scylla, even with the extra movement speed, she will hit Bastet, but she doesn't have any follow-up still. Nemesis going deep is Pern. He finds Famous Hate. That's a good kill for them, but he may die on his own. No, Bastet a little bit too worried to continue that one forward, and in the meantime, Jigs is picked up on the backside of that fight by the Nemesis. So Aduro finding a couple kills, or sorry, 1 kill and a significant amount of damage in that fight, but it's still the Gold Fury for COG Gaming.
Yeah, Nemesis wasn't worried about dealing with that best set either because they knew the cats were down, but hold the ticket here as Adura was able to get that, and now Meerkat just taking a crush to the face. You can see him just lose almost half his health from just one ability. Scylla's at that point now where she's out of the early game phase. She's got her pen boots, which is going to help. It looks like she's going to go into Warlocks. This is kind of like the MLC stealth build where no matter what god you bring in the mid lane, it's always Warlocks. I mean, it's really hard to pass this item up. You get a very, very tanky, and you get a lot of power from it once it's all farmed up.
Yes, you do. The Heartseeker here as well for that Loki. Oh no, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Doom or Cronus, which it doesn't exist.
Yeah, no. I was solely talking about Scylla and Warlock Sash.
Yeah, no. So in my mind, I was like, oh, it's a solo lane matchup where it's going to be the Doom Orb that you're talking about with the stacks. No, it's not. It's going to be a Warlocks for the Cronus as well. Even though it's so cost efficient for that Doom Orb, not going to elect for it. And that, of course, leaves Loki with his Heartseeker way ahead in the early damage in this lane. So that's kind of how he's overcome it. Now, granted, once Warlock Sash is online and starts getting stacked up, Cronus pulls back ahead. But for now, Loki, especially at 2-0-2, with the top net worth on his team, looking pretty good as NQ.
Yeah, well, the one thing we didn't really point out, and I'm surprised we didn't, is that Loki opted into Hand of the Gods, so which means he might actually not have teleport. Hold the phone, though, as Gab is just going to lose all of his health. The cats have come out as well. That is a nice team fight so far for COG Gaming. They seem very, very well composed.
Gab was just a race there. Where is his tankiness? Gab, please. Just working on his boots here. It looks like he has the Winged Wand done, and that's the kind of the downside of this build, right? Is that once you get your Winged Wand, or your Winged Blade, I'm sorry, yeah, you're good against slows, and sure, you have some cooldown reduction, and it gives you a lot of stats, but it doesn't give you much in terms of damage mitigation, and that really plays in when you're getting hit by 4 or 5 different damage sources. And as you saw it there, he just explodes.
I think people are looking at trying to do the most cost-efficient build right now, and I think Winged Blade kind of falls into it.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, you get the cooldown, you get 300 health, which is a good stat, but
No
I don't know. It's so hard to look at Heartward Amulet and just say, nah. Or even Sovereignty. Sovereignty is going to help out as well. So I think the build is going to continue to progress. Everyone's kind of following Incon's footsteps here when they see Mark of the Vanguard into Wingblade. Every single video he does is just like, Mark of the Vanguard, and then Wingblade.
Well, we'll see if that is indeed the case as these builds continue to progress. This is, of course, obviously the only second week of competition here in Season 2. And I'm sure there will be significantly more fun things to talk about here. But in the mid lane, not having a fun time is Pain de Vion. Wow. That's his second death. I mean, basically, he dies, comes back, and dies again immediately. That hurts. Oh, no, that was Jigs. I'm sorry. I'm crazy.
Yeah, that was Jigs.
I don't know why I thought that was the Geb. It was Jigs. It was the other support on the other side of the team. Cognitive Gaming's Jigs gets just absolutely
I think you're just
erased
excited to see Pain being back.
I like Pain.
Pain's a great guy.
He is.
He was a coach for Complexity at the regional championship. He was really good. He was on top of everything. And by the way, Kronos, Meerkat is just poking him out. This is exactly what we expect to see. But this is what Loki does. He goes invisible, throws down the decoy, gets the experience, and then heads back. So I wonder. Okay, so he has elected to go into beads. So he's going to go into beads 3 here, taking the cooldown instead of having the global presence of teleport. So he probably won't be going for a split push kind of feel.
You know, Pain to Beyond, Rushed, pretty cool French Canadians, but my favorite Canadian, definitely Jeff Hindla.
Oh, Jeff Hindla's by far the best Canadian. That's without a doubt. I mean, I'm still waiting on the Jeff Hindla Bacchus skin that hopefully will.
Maple syrup Bacchus?
Yeah. And it's just Jeff Hindla. With his basketball shorts.
Yes, good old Jeff.
The good times. Agni actually going as well into Warlock Sash. So both mid laners going with Warlock Sash. Agni is known for kind of going into Bancrofts and then into Spears, just kind of shredding the protection.
Kronos. He's going to get the rewind off! Even with the Nemesis and Loki ultimate dumped into him, still able to get through. And that's brought to you by the Warlock Sash, sponsoring Meerkat's life pool since about 3 minutes ago when he finished it with 29 stacks there, and he survives the big burst gank.
Yeah, dude, it's 300 health and 400 mana. I remember during PTS, we nerfed it to like 200 health, and they was just like, you can't do it.
Yeah.
So we reverted that change back. We like what Warlocks was doing.
I don't know, Scott. I don't know if we all like. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Warlock Sash still holding its own as
by the company for the company.
Still holding its own, definitely as the primary kind of health building item for mages, and certainly quite good at that. Oh wow, Pern gonna blow beads there to shrug off that time stop. Seems a little premature, honestly.
Yeah,
where was the follow up there?
Yeah, questionable. It does happen though. It's scary. Kronos hurts. He hits very, very hard. So I get it. Look at MQ, dude. He's gonna get stopped, and he is just gonna get shredded.
It's the second time now in about as many seconds that Meerkat has forced beads out. Scylla's here. She's going to use her Sick'em. She's going to use the Crush as well. Sun Wukong getting a bit low. Gold Fury now in execute range. Cognitive cleans it up. Sun Wukong takes to the cloud, and they are going to be able to, disengage pretty easily there. Bastet Cats prevent Geb from blinking, and yeah, away they go. Cognitive Gaming with a free Gold Fury there. Nice timing and a well-executed escape as well from the boys in blue here.
They seem very consistent with it too, right? It hasn't been a struggle for them at all. It's just been very routine. Wait. Are they going for this?
Yikes.
Get out of here.
Legion, they think they got the hot plays. Fire Giant, 70% now as they continue to push in. They're doing a nice job of dealing with the encounter, not getting knocked up here, but Kronos is in the building. We've seen what he can do. NQ trying to zone him out. The lava puddles are down. NQ picks up Meerkat. Fire Giant, it picks up the kill to Pain to Beyond. They have no Hog 3, 20% now. In comes the rest of Cognitive Gaming and Legion. They're going to take a spell. They're going to 5-man wipe. Maybe here we'll see. No, the Crush may be enough to hold them out. Continuing to move forward is Artemis with the Sprint 3 active. Adura, one more shot. Basset over the top. She dunks it in. And there it is, a triple for Mass and a full team wipe for Legion.
That is what we call the game of throws. That idea was fantastic. Pern took whatever we're deciding. We got to come up with names for what we're calling the fire carpet. He took the fire carpet to the face twice in that, which just shredded his health. And now we're going to see the siege here coming out of Cognitive Gaming. That was a gift. Very rarely do you get a Gold Fury, secure it perfectly, and then come back and they're like, oh, I just have to kill 2 people and I get a Fire Giant? Fantastic.
It's like 3,000 gold lead, 4,000 gold lead still for Cognitive, right? They have 2,200 experience, which is really not that much here. The 4,000 gold also still pretty small.
Yeah. 5,000
overall. It's the biggest lead that we've seen in the game, but it's only 17 minutes in. To tell you the truth here, it's like, I'm a little surprised that Legion didn't surrender right there. Like, that's just such a demoralizing, like, gut shot.
Very
you try to make the sneaky Fire Giant play. Your tank, you don't get your tank alive at the end of it. It gets stolen away, and you lose 4.
That's a rage.
And Pern was dead during the fight, and then was kind of jungling on the other side of the map as the extended fight came out. But no, Legion, accurately noticed that they're not really down that much. All you have to do is hold out this Fire Giant. They're still in this game. It's just a question of, can they keep Cognitive from getting a lot of objective gold here as they push down the left side lane?
They also have to make sure they just delay this push. When you look at it, Nemesis still doesn't have Chin Size online, and you look across Bastet, she's got Shifters and Jotuns. So you wouldn't have minded to see the Transcendence here come out on Bastet, but she wants a little bit more of the protections, which is going to help her out in the team phase. So I don't mind the call, and now you're just going to see Wukong kind of just clear through. Magic Cudgel doing an extra 20% to minions. That's going to really help push this wave.
So looking at the tanks here, it's a level 11 Geb here for Pain de Vion. No defensive items finished yet. Working towards what should be a breastplate. I'm sorry, a sovereignty here. But sovereignty finished on some Wukong, which is why plus the Fire Giant buff, they're just so much more resilient here as they siege down this tier 2. Kronos has pushed NQ out of the right side lane where he did trade for a tier 1, but now Kronos will push up to the tier 2 tower as well and force Loki's hand to the right side of the map and keep him here and unable to disrupt the fights. He's going to actually, group with his team in the mid lane as the Kronos as he rotates over to join Jigs and Mask here. The Bastet and the Sun Wukong, the two furry friends moving through the jungle here for Cognitive Gaming. They've got this game by the throat, at least for the moment. But can they expand the lead? Still only 4,000 gold.
Yeah, it's like an episode of The Jungle Book. So the siege is coming. You can see Artemis just shred through. Geb, rollouts down. But they don't even want this. They're fine with this routine push. They're looking to catch someone in the jungle as well. They could have done it with Loki, but Loki just being invisible, being the nuisance that he is, and now it looks like their eye has turns its gaze to tier 2 mid lane. Geb.
Oh, Geb, no, Pain.
Yeah, no.
Not again. Not again, Pain, please.
Yeah, Mask needs to also make sure that he gets out of there.
Yeah, both of them kind of realized maybe they bit off more than they could chew. A little bit of counter warding going on the left side there by NQ. Trying to maintain their kind of vision meridian here is Legion. They don't want those Cognitive Gaming wards too deep in their jungle because the pickoffs will be coming. And Gold Fury, she's back up in 40 seconds. Fire Giant, the buff going to be reclaimed in 20 seconds. He coming back up in about a minute here.
Now this is more of the guaranteed we keep our lead play than the ballsy let's continue the siege. They go back, they know their buffs are online, and they also want to group for this Gold Fury. And as you can just see, as the items get bigger and bigger, you can just see Cognitive Gaming's lead just increases just a little bit. So now Agni has Spear the Magus, which is going to be bringing down Scylla's protections to non-existent.
Yes.
Mages have a flat of 30, and then they don't get any more than that unless they build it.
Yeah, this is where the damage spike has really come into full effect for Cognitive. The timing is looking pretty good. They have Kronos with his breastplate and his Warlock stun, which means he can be a bit of a frontliner while also having a good bit of damage. Bastet, Jotuns, and Shifters going in a bit more pen as well. It's the Titan's Bane. I'm sorry, you mentioned the Spear, the Magus, and the Warlock Dash for Agni online. Sovereignty done. And you have your first attack speed item coming out for Artemis as well. And the fight's going to break out. Geb, it's a bit premature with that ultimate. Only 40% of the Gold Fury. The DPS is stopped nicely there by Cognitive Gaming. Now in execution range. Who gets it? It's Cognitive once again for the third Gold Fury of the match. They take out Pain de Vion yet again. Backlines. NQ gets blown up as Mask does not let his teammate go down. Off the mark was Asilla there with the I'm a Monster. Meerkat will survive with the Aegis Amulet. DJ Pernicus out of the fight. It's a nice stop time on Asilla. She's forced to beads. Mask is not going to pursue this one. They go home with their 2 kills and the Gold Fury yet again, and Cognitive have indeed expanded on their lead here, not giving Legion a window back into this one as of yet.
That's big. That was absolutely humongous, that fight. Front to back Cognitive. They have great composure. You can just tell that they're actually shot calling right, too. You can see each member of the team has the same priority, which is big. You have to have that in a MOBA. But the one thing I want to point out here is that normally we kind of see Ichavolt before Executioner, but now we're seeing Executioner before Ichavolt.
Well, it's Artemis.
Yeah, but
Artemis,
even across the way with Shablanka.
Now that I don't have a good answer
Yeah.
for. For Artemis, it's just, what is she going to do with a little bit extra damage? She's just going to crit you, and she'd rather have more penetration onto the target so the crits are bigger. Bailing out now, Shablanka gets caught out a bit. Pain de Vion once again in the front line. He does have rollout active and is going to be able to get out of this one, but it was a little bit of a risky play there by the Geb. Going back and taking another look at the Fire Giant is Cognitive, but they don't really want to start it up with Legion in their face. Oh, that's a big Agni Bomb. It erases Pain de Vion. The Spear of the Match is doing a lot there. Now they have Scylla zoned out of this fight. The chase is on by Massey. He hits the slow. They have to do the Shablanka ultimate. They're not going to get stunned out. Nice little recall juke there. And moving forward is Heroin for the in-hand for the kill. NQ, he's going to try to just stall out the push a little bit and be annoying with the Loki. It's 3 versus 5, though, as Cognitive is still very healthy.
Dude, Agni just threw one auto attack and saw it close it out. He had fantastic positioning. Eyes on NQ. NQ actually not trying to contest this at all. He
50%.
realizes it's just gone. So now we're going to see if the steal is going to be possible.
25, 20, there it is. Yes, yep. 25%, and down it goes. Cognitive Gaming. Without Pain de Vion, in that fight, he did get killed at the beginning. Now making his way out of the base. They're in some trouble. Basset moves forward on to Pern. Pern reflecting some damage.
Look at that. Shredding.
But no. No, you do not, sir, as the damage comes through once again from Bastet, who, with her Titan's Bane now done, is very dangerous. Also, Mask. Good God almighty, boy. 9-0-2.
Dude, he's been crushing.
He's the whole team. They only have 11 kills.
Yeah, well, he's the majority of the team, right?
He's definitely done all that.
That's what Bastet's been doing, though, recently. I mean, look at this game and tell me Bastet shouldn't be shining. It's 23 minutes in. This is how you get her online. I mean, she's been everywhere. And to be honest, Nemesis hasn't had that same effect in this game. And it's really just because it takes her so long to have any kind of pressure.
Yeah, I mean, Bastet, this is where you're like, all right, Bastet's no longer going to be a big issue. Right? Like 24, 25 minutes, you know, you're thinking, okay, the Bastet, she did really well in the early game, but I think we're going to be able to deal with this one. Not when she's 9-0-2 and nearly 6 slotted here. It looks like last item's going to be the Void Blade, is my guess, with that next buckler pickup, but obviously has some options here. But yeah, you can see just how much damage output there is with the 5 items up and running on Bastet, as Loki, a pretty difficult target to take down, gets just erased from the map yet again.
So the siege looks like it's going to happen in the mid lane here. You're going to basically watch as Meerkat's going to go into a poke ward. They don't have any sustain underneath the tower. This is where kind of like a Sylvanas comes in handy, where if you're getting siege, you can kind of heal up here. So I'm expecting Cognitive to really just start poking it down. And you can just see Sun Wukong, a.k.a. Jigs, is just going to sit there and tank it for the team. And they're going to be able to take this tier 2 with no contestation at all coming out of Legion.
Yeah, his +3 levels, his Heart Ward, Sovereignty, and Heavenly Agility is making the Sun Wukong such a tremendous teamfight support. On the other side, Geb, even with his toolkit being much more oriented towards the teamfight, with just the Sovereignty and the Wing Blade, brings a lot less to the table.
Well, look at the aura he's giving out. He's giving out 20 physical protections and 20 magical protections to his team. That's helped so much.
Oh, here we go. The fight's starting to break out. This could be the final fight of the game as Mask is in the front line. Vedium is down, and as a Shibalanke, that's most of their dangerous damage output. Really now just the Scylla to deal with. NQ hasn't really got much this game, enough to be a huge factor against these Fire Giant buff wielding members of Cognitive Gaming. They're going to push into the Phoenix here. Geb moves forward. He finds a decent ultimate there, but there's no follow-up off the mark yet. Again is the Scylla with that ult. Pain to Beyond. Down he goes. Famous Hate getting credit for that kill. Aduro's down as well in this fight. NQ makes his way in.
Beautiful.
He may pick one up here. Indeed, he will. The rewind from Kronos, however, leaves him nice and healthy, and it's just a Loki going up against 4. The Titan going to be piled onto, and Cognitive Gaming will knock out Legion in the round of 8 here, it looks like, unless there's some kind of miracle. No, there will not be. 20%, 19%, and down it goes. The the Titan to fall. And Cognitive Gaming finds the first win under new sponsorship.
This is a much different team than what we saw last week. When I casted this with FDOT last week, I was like, okay, you know, there was a good chance that Legion could have won this game. That was not the case here. You could see their objective secure has been perfect. They got rewarded with the Fire Giant, the first one, right? That was just a play call kind of by Legion. They said, maybe we can get the Fire Giant. They weren't able to. But other than that, dude, Cognitive looks really, really good.
They did, yes. I mean, you can see why What's Cracking got picked up by the Fries. But let's take a look at the brackets here, where we can see how things have played out around the league. Complexity beats Buster. Nomad beat Eager, as we mentioned during the game. Denial goes on to beat Polyjuice, and we just watched Cognitive and Legion, and that takes us into the round of 4, where it's going to be Denial versus Cognitive, the next game coming your way. If you're wondering who Denial Esports is, well, not only are they one of the kind of original foundational members of Smite Esports, an old sponsor from this scene, also known as 5 Angry Men last week. So some experienced and veteran players and a veteran organization here in Smite Esports, and we look forward to seeing them now tagged up with their new sponsor for the first week going, because Cognitive also tagged up. It's Denial versus Cog coming up in 5 minutes, guys. We'll see you on the other side of it. Don't go anywhere.